All right, so for some reason, Nike re-released this shoe again. Feels like we just had a retro of these. However, I'm not mad at them bringing back another pair. Here is the shoes. I ended up getting them. Shout out to Jen. She reached out and got them for me when I was like doing a live stream on Whatnot, and they did a shock drop of them, and we hit on a pair. Retail is $240 on this. This is the royal blue penny Foamposite, or as the box says, the dark neon royal colorway, which I believe is the same color as what they said last time, but it is the royal blue penny Foamposites. One of my favorite, if not my favorite sneaker of all time. So kind of a deep-rooted history with that shoe for myself. It's the one that really put me on to basketball sneakers and sneakers in general, of just thinking out of the box of what is possible in footwear and how like polarizing footwear can be. And these originally came out in 1997. I have a pair right here. Shout out to Sneakerhead in the Bay. He actually gifted me this one years and years ago. This is the Nike Foamposite 1 from 1997. And man, it's so cool to see like an old pair and the new pair side by side. There are a lot of similarities between both of these, but there are some obvious differences as well. The first big difference that they kind of did here, they made it a lot more blue looking. Like the blue definitely stands out a lot more on the new pair. It's just way more vibrant. In fact, I have the 2016 pair right here as well. And as you can tell from the three, like the new pair is significantly brighter than the previous two. So, you know, over time, I think maybe the color might fade anyway, so it's probably not a big deal, but something to note. Also, the icy soles is still pretty icy on my pair from years ago. This one is always on the display wall. I should have the OG pair up there, but all in all, man, I'm happy that they're releasing more. It's the best Foamposite in my opinion because it's the one that kind of started it all for myself. I remember I tested basketball shoes with Nike years and years and years ago, and when I was testing basketball shoes for them, this was a couple years after these came out, I was like, dude, this is my favorite shoe of all time. Can I get some of them? And I was sample size, obviously, when I was testing basketball shoes. So the guy that I was working with actually sold me a couple pairs of like 5 pairs of Foamposites, 2 pairs of royal blues, I believe, and 2 pairs of blacks, and I think a pair of pearls, something like that. Any which way, I had all 3 of those colorways, and they were all samples. And the blue pair that I had was like a special sample. It had, I believe it had the Nike written on the side right here, which is like a super rare sample. It's kind of crazy to think about. And that's one thing that I think that they missed on this one. They should have created that one with that Nike sample with the words Nike ingrained in the foam here. That would have been a cool difference for this time around with this retro, instead of just bringing another retro from the same, you know, vibes as a previous retro. I would say the major differences between the new retro versus the original that I have here. Number one is the mesh around the heel and the tongue. You do have a different look to the mesh. Now it's kind of like it's lined with some white material in the middle of it. And you don't have that on the new one. The new one is all black. Now, oddly enough, on the last retro, they actually did include that. So I don't know why they went away with the original like mesh sort of vibes to that. It's kind of a bummer they did that. The second change up from the original from 97, obviously I already mentioned the blue color is totally different. The third change up is kind of interesting as well. Not my favorite. They actually changed up the carbon fiber and made it checkered. So previously it was not blue and black, it was just black. So I don't know why they made it blue and black. It's kind of nice that they made it, I guess, a little bit of a difference. It gives you an opportunity to know that this is the latest and greatest one, but it's not true to the original form. And speaking of not original, on the bottom of the outsole of the shoe, they changed this up as well. The 1C is all in white now. Previously, the 1 was in black. The C was in white, and they changed that. I don't know why. Also, the Nike swoosh up on the front that is embroidered. It normally is white. However, in the latest and greatest version, they gave it a nice little blue border around it. I'm not mad at that change. It looks nice, but it is not like the original. And I don't think anywhere in the promotion of this, they were like, hey, this is like a bring back of the original. But ultimately, like, I think that sneaker people, when we look at it, we see the blue upper, the black accents, the white outsoles, we think, hey, they're bringing it back. But they kind of did bring it back, but also done in a little bit of a different way. And leave a comment in the comment section. How does that make you guys feel? Is it something you guys like or dislike? I mean, you could be on either side of the fence. It's not exactly like the original, which could be okay. There is some minor changes to the shoes that I've already been mentioning. Is that something that is beneficial or not? I mean, it gives you the opportunity to know that this one is different than the previous retro, which is different than the previous retro, which, you know what I mean? I think Jordan Brand retros, when they were bringing them out, every one had a little bit of variance, like one small little detail that was different about the next version, because they didn't want it to be exactly the same, with the only key identifier being the tags on the shoe, letting you know what year that they were made. I think other than that though, they kept a lot of the other things the same. The pull tabs being pretty much the same. The 1C on the tongue and also on the heel, pretty much the same material as on the lace holes as on the collar and the liner. The same clear outsole that I just absolutely love from the original ones as well. All in all, they did a great job on it. It's $240 though, so that is a bummer. And they are available at some sites still. Nike pulled them off their site. Eventually they're gonna put them back up, hopefully, and when they do, I'll link them in the description of the video so you guys can cop a pair, because I don't think that they're selling out. Foot Locker had them as well, and I think that they pulled them maybe as well, or maybe they did sell it, I don't know. Any which way, this is the one. If you're gonna get a Foamposite, this is my favorite colorway of all, because again, it's just a nod to the original. For those that don't know, 1C was like Anthony Hardaway and stuff, and he played for the Orlando Magic, which is why the colorway is blue. And he's not actually the first person to ever wear the shoes, which is kind of crazy. Mike Bibby actually introduced him in college first, who was a Jordan Brand athlete. And then Penny saw them and then wanted him to be in his line for how the story goes. The Foamposite line has been pretty crazy through the years. They've had bunches of different versions of the Foamposites, the Flyposites and so on, variations with pennies as well. But this is the one that really started it all, and one of my favorites for that reason. I mean, from a shoe that came out in 1997, this is still just an amazing, crazy design. They are really snug on foot though, but they are supposed to mold your foot after wearing them quite a bit. For myself, that was my experience when I wore my pair into the ground from years and years ago. Nowadays though, if you don't want to go through that form-fitting stuff, you could always go up a half a size because they are a little bit snug. I like that snugness, so it reminds me of the good old days. Anyways, what do you guys think about the Foamposite in the royal blue colorway? Leave a comment, let me know. Appreciate you all for stopping in and watching. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of the day, and hopefully we'll see you back on the channel for some more sneaker content soon. All right, peace guys.